Turns. This your boy Mikey Step Back. We going into the talks of Jamal Murray, the Denver Nuggets, and the situation of all situations that hits a lot of star NBA players lately. The dreaded torn ACL. Murray suffers the injury last night in a game where I feel, I don't want to go there, but because it looks like the injury was going to happen anyway. He should have been out of the game in the situation that they were in. But, low management is not something everybody practices. And now we're in a situation where Mr. Murray is going to be out at least, a year, at least 6 months to a year with recovery of the ACL. So pardon Mr. Murray. Had great hopes of contention in the West. Now this is what happens and why I continuously talk about having a backup for the backup. And this is why. They lost Gary Harris. They lost R.J. Hampton. Two guys that I felt could not match Murray at current state, but give you a little bit of an edge. Now, who do you go to? You got Monty Morris, Campazzo's possibly moving into the starting position. They haven't used Marcus Howard, who's a big-time scorer in college. Small guy. Think of Nate Robinson merged with Isaiah Thomas. So that'll be interesting. It looks like they just picked up Shaquille Harrison as a possible backup for Mr. Jamal Murray. Now, this is a situation where I start to talk about free agents and what they can do, and I talked about players that are going to need to be stepping up. All right, now with Murray gone, it's a big offensive load that's needed to be captured. You can be rest assured that Will Barton is going to step up. All right, that's going to be the next main guy. It's going to be Jokic. Porter Jr. is going to have to step up big time. Gordon's going to have to give a little more, and then it's Will Barton. Will Barton's going to have to really come up big time. But they need another scorer here, all right? He's not, he's an East Coast scorer where it's dribble drives plus shots. I think they need a pure shot guy because Murray was both, but he was really on the upper echelon of being a scorer in the NBA. Especially in last-minute situations, Murray had the ball and made things happen, big shot after big shot. Gerald Green's available, all right? That's one guy that I was thinking about as a free agent. I just went over my waivers video, and I'm quickly going to look at, current NBA free agents, right? Guys that are on the free agent tracker at current state. Another guy that comes to mind for me, I hate to say it, I know people are going to say, neg, forget about it. J.R. Smith is a volume shooter, okay? That's what he does. Is he possibly available right now, as somebody that you could go get? And that's something we have to look at. Is J.R. Smith in the ilk or health where he can possibly contribute? There's also an Isaiah Thomas, right? Isaiah's over on the Pelicans, but he's on that, that 10-day, 20, those 10-day renewals. Can they snap Isaiah? Perfect fit in to what Mr. Murray did, except he's 5 inches taller and is going to be lacking a lot of defense. You can see the impact of Mr. Thomas on the Pelicans, and he's not getting the minutes. Malone knows him. He knows the system. If they can nab him from the Pelicans, especially a team that, is trying to close back into the playoffs, but if they don't get that opportunity, it's definitely a shot for my boy, Mr. Isaiah Thomas, to step in, all right? Now, as we go through the rest of the line and players that are potentially available, and we're going through the whole breadth of it, right? We got Gerald Green. We knew about him. That's the guy I just discussed. And I'm just looking at who else could be possibly available from this list that's actually not signed. So a lot of these guys are signed. I'm just looking for empty slots, right? Harper, Graves, and this is kind of what they would do. It makes a long-winded video, but this is kind of how we do it, trying to figure out. So Mr. Johnson. Not sure. Oh, is that Stanley Johnson? So Stanley Johnson, I thought he was on. Oh, wow. That's interesting here. Okay. Now this is quite interesting. A young kid that's really never been given the opportunity to shine. Stanley Johnson to the Nuggets. See how I do it, man. I mean, y'all doubting me. All these guys talking and long sentences and not really giving you that feedback. I like that pickup. Stanley Johnson with a Gerald Green. And then you add in a pure point guard. I don't know. That's not a bad proposition. Gives you more size as well. The Martin brothers, one's still available. Mason, G. Matthews, Bobo Day. I'm not going to go there. They need to choose a scorer now. So I don't want to hear it. Mood Day is also available, right? He didn't get re-signed. That's interesting. Emmanuel Mood Day is out there. I'm excited, guys. I'm starting to get excited again. There's talent here, okay? Austin Rivers, I believe Austin Rivers is now available. You know what? Austin Rivers is interesting. Austin Rivers is another interesting pickup. Oh my God, Austin Rivers from Orlando back in high school. I mean, he was similar to Murray. Not the same type of playing style. Obviously, Murray's he's another level scorer, Murray. Just an outstanding playmaker for himself. But Austin Rivers is not a bad pickup, guys. So, again, I just gave you three names. Trier was available. They're definitely they want somebody who's strong who's going to come right in. Dion Waiters. Folks, you see where I'm going here, man? You see what I got to do? Step back, people, man. You know what it is, man. I told you I'm on these NBA streets, man. How they gonna match me? See what? And I'm on the phone. I'm showing it to you. I don't do this boo boo bye bye, man. I'm going through it. Right now it's under 10 minutes, and we're running through this junk, man. So right now for me, Gerald Green, J.R. Smith, Dion Waiters, right? We got to throw Trier in there as a potential, right? We know, but I didn't want to go with Kobe Simmons, but I love him. I heard Gerald, what's his name? Glenn Robinson's gone. Why not add some defense to make up for the offense? And that's where I'm going. Since none of these guys will offensively be I'm not sure Austin Rivers can finally turn it on and reach what he should have in high school, but he's an interesting play there. Mude, another guy could have been. Right, but when we talk about Gerald Green and J.R. Smith, those guys come to mind. Those are interesting pickups. We talk about Stanley Johnson is still available. That's another interesting pickup. Why aren't they playing these guys? Don't go for the stupid pick. Go for the big talent. You need scoring. I think all these guys have an opportunity to definitely make a dent in the squad. So with that said, there's still an opportunity there. Hezazonia went back over to Europe, really never came through, right? And it really never. Shaquille Harrison is the pickup they just got. And I'm not seeing much other than the Gerald Green. Too bad Fournier's gone. Too bad they lost Hampton, because I would have loved to see what Hampton could have done. Again, I think that's about Jay Crawford. Jamal Crawford, folks, man. See, I'm still in it. Jamal Crawford, I'm not sure. Hey, let me tell you something. If you could do a Jamal Crawford, a Gerald Green, and maybe get a big defensive guard in Mude, I don't think there's any way they could sign all three. But if you could figure out a way to get all three on the roster, you may have something. You may have something to make up for that ilk, right? Because definitely Jamal Crawford is a big shot guy. That's for sure. So, again, the Denver Nuggets lose Mr. Jamal Murray. What does this do for their lineup? Makes him go hunting. Deion Burton, I love him, man. I love the athleticism on Burton. He was Zion before Zion, guys. Go look up him and see why he's not playing. I'm not sure what's going on with the NBA. But Jordan Bone was let go again. I don't think he's of that level. Mike Beasley, interesting pickup that could be. Right? You go all big. You play Porter Jr. at the 2. You bring Mike Beasley at the 3. Again, scoring is, I think, what they're missing. If they can get scoring and then a bigger guard to play defense, they'll make up a little bit, maybe 65% of what you got out of Murray, which is still something special if they can get the rest of their guys going. So with that said, I'm going to sign off here, step back here. I just went in. I didn't just talk. I gave them a solution, their options, and we just went through it. Green, Beasley, went through it, right? We talked about some of those bigger names. In addition to, we talked about Stanley Johnson. So again, a couple of talents here. that could potentially help this team. J.R. Smitherwiser, right? I mean, these are guys that can come in and definitely score. And then you can add on some other players from a defensive perspective. So I'm going to sign off here. Sad news. No offense. A lot of people are saying they're going to make the championships. I doubt it. I doubt it with this squad. I told you they were losing. They were losing games against good teams. After the big spurt with beating teams that were depleted. So the big thing is getting the returns back from their investments earlier in the season and figuring out where they're going to land. I'm gonna kick off here. Like I said, step back, people. It's been a great season, but these injuries are hurting us. I'm gone. Peace.